New rules to the road debated in Parliament today. Straight ahead, here are the new conditions and provisions of the Road Traffic Act. Already 135,000 people have registered to vote, but there are still many of you that qualify and need to before the register closes. Tonight, Prime Minister Ingram talks about that and population shift. Where in the world has $8,000 disappeared to? That's the question being put to 6 police officers who are being investigated for the missing money since Sunday. And get ready to learn all you need to know about building an environmentally friendly home when the Home and Builder Show kicks off next month. We have a preview. It's Wednesday, October 26th. Get ready. The Bahamas Tonight starts right now.
Covering the islands of the Bahamas, ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight.
Good evening. It's great to have you along this evening. I'm Shanique Miller. This is the Bahamas Tonight National Report. As the government's multi-million-dollar road improvement project continues throughout New Providence, lawmakers are legislating tougher laws to ensure greater safety and accountability on our streets. Figures show that over the past 5 years, an average of 800 traffic accidents occurred. Now, get this, just to give you an idea of the amount of cars on the road, in the last 3 years, 115,000 cars were registered. Ianthea Smith was in the House of Assembly today. She tells us what to expect in the new Road Traffic Act.
The numbers are quite scary. During debate on the Road Traffic Amendment Bill in the House of Assembly Wednesday, Mount Moriah MP Tommy Turnquest revealed some startling traffic figures. So far for 2011, there have been 32 recorded traffic fatalities in New Providence alone.
6,248 damage reports, 75 hit-and-run reports, 50 police units, 1,495 minor injuries, and 75 major injuries.
In 2010, 44 people became traffic fatality victims. Specimens were taken from 36 of these individuals, 25 drivers, 6 passengers, and 5 pedestrians. The results disturbing, Mr. Turnquest says, as 68% of those drivers had alcohol blood levels over the legal limit. But mover of the bill, Works and Transport Minister Nico Grant, says the figures are just one of the reasons these amendments are being debated. He says the proposed amendments include provisions for the elimination of Road Act insurance, enforcing the seatbelt law, issues dealing with driving under the influence, and the introduction of breathalyzers, and the removal of the requirement of the presence of a police officer at the scene of every accident.
We recognize that this subsection 1 is discretionary and could be abused through the provision of false names and addresses or through the use of intimidation tactics by persons with outstanding police warrants or other reasons to evade the police. There's also the potential for abuse by persons seeking to escape liability when they are at fault for possible injury to the other driver or damage to the driver's vehicle that may not be detected or may not be overtly apparent at that specific time.
He says this is why the government isn't denying the option to call the police, adding that a report can still be made to a station. But Shadow Transport Minister Glenys Hannah Martin maintains that many of the proposed amendments are rip-offs from what the PLP had planned during their time in office.
We can come here and make all the piecemeal reforms that we wish. It is deceptive to ourselves and to our people. Unless you have a comprehensive transport policy that addresses the real issues that facilitate quality of life, we will continue to have the chaos that is becoming more and more associated with our beloved Commonwealth.
Ianthea Smith, ZNS News.
Prime Minister Hubert Ingram once again driving home the message, if you're eligible, then register to vote. In this morning's session, the Prime Minister said he is satisfied that a sufficient number of eligible voters registered ahead of the closing of the old register to permit members of the Constituencies Commission to review the boundaries. Ingram added that the increase in population in Exuma and Abaco in recent years are perhaps the most dramatic examples of movement of citizens between islands, while increased concentration of housing developments in suburbs of New Providence are examples of population shifts.
It is our desire to achieve the purest distribution of seats as is practicable, given our geography and population distribution. This will only be achieved if we have the most accurate picture of where population resides. And so Bahamians who are eligible to register to vote are urged by me to do so. Last-minute registration ought to be avoided at all costs.
You should know that there are several registration centers around New Providence and the Family Islands to make the process easier and more convenient. Also today, members of the Upper House began debate on the package of crime bills, which was passed in the House of Assembly last week. Attorney General John Delaney introduced 10 of the 11 bills. The 11th bill, the criminal and witness bill, will be debated separately at a later date. Here's Carla Palmer.
A lesson in the law. That's what Senator John Delaney, a lawyer by profession who also holds the post as Attorney General, brought to the upper chamber Wednesday morning. Jump-starting the second reading of the government's package of anti-crime bills, Senator Delaney highlighted the distinct roles of the three branches of government: the legislative, executive, and judicial. His underlying message here is that while Parliament is responsible for implementing laws, the degree or level of the penalties assigned can only be imposed within the confines of the laws governing our country's constitution.
The Bahamas Supreme Court has concluded, and I quote from the judgment, "So long as Parliament stays within the Constitution, it may pass legislation limiting the grant of bail to persons reasonably suspected of having committed a criminal offense, provided that such persons are brought to trial within a reasonable time after they have been arrested and detained." You see what I'm doing here? I am defining the space within which Parliament, within which this honorable chamber, as indeed the honorable House below, has to operate.
Senator Delaney says the government is cognizant of the noise in the market and hears the calls for the enforcement of capital punishment, given a steady increase in record-breaking criminal offenses over the past few years, including that of murder. Within confines of our Constitution, he's convinced that the amendments to the crime bills will positively impact the level of crime now being experienced. With 109 murders on record to date, timely and critical was how Senator Dwayne Sands described the package of bills.
The murder count in no way tells the whole story. But as Bahamians, we cry about this rising murder rate and calls for somebody to do something as the rate climbs. We've focused on the murder rate, but we ignore the many who have been so badly injured that they may have died were it not for the grace of God.
Senator Sands says for those who continue to ignore the laws or may have forgotten those principles for healthy living, the consequences set out in the crime bills will serve as a constant reminder that with freedom comes responsibility. Carla Palmer, ZNS News.
2 men are in hospital tonight following a daring shootout off East Bay Street earlier today. Superintendent Paul Roll confirmed that 2 men were in the Fowler Street area off East Bay Street trying to evade 2 men chasing them who were in a white BMW SUV. The man reportedly ran into the Esso service station on East Bay Street. Roll confirmed that one of them was shot in the upper back while the other was shot in the buttocks. We understand that one of the injured is a 45-year-old resident of Stapleton Gardens. Both are under police guard tonight. Now, the rumor mill was on full throttle today with numerous reporting outrageous reports. One claimed 6 people were killed today, and a member of parliament is reported to have asked whether 2 people were killed today. ZNS News can confirm that all reports are not true. Police liaison officer Sergeant Chrislyn Skippings confirmed to our news team just moments ago that no one was killed today. The murder count remains at 109. Where is the money? That's the question everyone is asking, as $8,000 goes missing while in the possession of a group of police officers. We understand that these 6 officers are from the Central Division. They have been placed in quarter guard and are being questioned so that investigators can determine how the $8,000 vanished while in their custody. Now, the incident stemmed from a robbery on Sunday where a man was reportedly making a deposit of $13,000 at the Bank of the Bahamas on Shirley Street. Our news team made numerous attempts to get a comment from executive management of the force. They refused to comment, pending the investigation. Last year, 19 police officers were fired from the force for various infractions. That amnesty period to turn in illegal guns is winding down, and so far only 33 firearms have been turned in, along with 3,000 382 rounds of ammunition. That from National Security Minister Tommy Turnquest today. Turnquest added that police continue to take deadly weapons off the streets. So far, 405 guns have been recovered, along with 9,915 rounds of ammunition. Now, here's a reminder to you of all the places for you to turn in those illegal guns: the Firearms Licensing Office, Central Detective Unit, and Drug Enforcement Unit, all on Thompson Boulevard. You can also turn them in at various police stations: Cable Beach, Central, Southern, The Grove, Wolf Road, Carmichael, East Street South, Elizabeth Estates, and Fox Hill police stations. In Grand Bahama, the Central Detective Unit, Central Police Station, Lucaya, 8 Mile Rock, and West End police stations. And on the Family Islands, the Administrator's Office or any police station. Once again, that 30-day amnesty period, turn in all illegal guns, ends November 3rd.